Hello, everyone. This is Thoughtful Thursdays by Tornado IP. I'm here today again with Dr. Mike Bowe, my colleague and collaborator. We are here today again on a set of topics addressing how to read a patents, how experts read patents. We are going to demo how our team works in assessing patent portfolios when we are doing IP strategy development. And we have developed several short sessions, and our focus area is the Ozempic GLP-1 antagonist patent wars. So it should be a very, very interesting and relevant topic for a lot of people. So the first, we're going to talk about some key patents that came in this space. Hello, Mike, and thank you for joining.
Hi. Yep.
So recently, there was a publication in a public IP attorney consortium that discusses that there was a $450 fumble on the part of Novo Nordisk. They accidentally forgot to pay their maintenance fee on a Canadian patent family member. So typically, as we discussed in the past, when you try to protect an invention, you typically apply for patents in multiple different countries. And in this case, Novo Nordisk has done that in a lot of countries. And once you have a patent grant, you have the opportunity to continue to pay maintenance fees in all these different countries to continue to provide coverage for the various patents in the various countries. And you have to keep track of that. And you have to make sure that when the fees are coming due, you're gonna pay. So we're gonna discuss how this didn't happen. And this actually opened a $1 billion door, because now that you have a patent that's lapsed in Canada, this is an opportunity for your competition to potentially march in and start making the product that's covered in the claims and start making money, and Novo Nordisk losing money. So
Can you give a quick summary
Yes,
on
go ahead.
how frequently do the patent fee requirements come up? Is it a 3-year, 5-year? Unlike a driver's license, it's not every year, but you've got to pay attention.
Yes. So it's very tricky. It's different in different countries. For
Okay.
example, the United States is like the weirdest one. It's 7, 11, and 14 years after your
Okay.
priority filing is when you must pay that fee. And the patent office doesn't necessarily keep track of that for you. You got to keep track of that for you. And the amounts are also different. They tend to get increased over time. Other countries might have fees that are due every year. So once you have a large patent portfolio with many different countries that you filed in, there are data keeping systems that patent law firms utilize often to really make sure they keep track and they don't accidentally make a payment. So
you got to pay attention.
Patent, the fee. Yes, and that the patent lapsed in 2020 because they forgot to make this fee, and that allowed for various generics companies to start entering the market, and there's a projection of 50 to 8% price drop as a result. And the caveat to this, of course, is that in other countries the payments were made, and for instance, the U.S. protection is still intact to 2032. So this particular patent we're going to be discussing in this series of episodes is covering the specific molecule that's in semaglutide, which is what their commercial formula. And again, they missed the maintenance fee. And under Canadian law, this is different in different countries, but under the Canadian patent law, a lapsed patent cannot be revived. In some other countries, it could be like within a certain month's period, you can say, oh my gosh, sorry, I made a mistake. I will make a payment. But that's not the case in Canada. And the generics in the play are Sandoz and Apotex are preparing for market entry as a result. So now the question is, of course, is this intentional? Because sometimes companies do prune their portfolio and they do decide to drop patents and stop making fees. So Novo, of course, says that this is not necessarily a mistake. This is a strategy as well. They described this as deliberate. They strategically decided that they don't care about Canada. And the reasons for this could vary. It could vary because of cost. As I said, like you could just decide, I'm just going to drop all of my Canadian patents because it's so many hundreds of thousands of dollars of fees. It could have to do with the market size. Let's say that nobody in Canada is using Ozempic because they don't have any weight issues. For example, and there's also another nuance, which is, highlights how IP is not just patents, and that has to do with the regulatory landscape. Specifically in the pharma space, there's a lot of regulatory requirements that you
Hmm.
have to go through in order to be able to market a product, a pharmaceutical product. So Novo Nordisk obviously has gone through all these requirements from the FDA and its equivalent EU in other countries, and those requirements cannot be just skipped over by a generic or another company. It might take a few
Hmm.
years to skip through that. So it could be that Novo decided that, well, those regulatory hurdles will still hold back the competition, so we can just get rid of our Canadian patent. Um, so, the key lesson here is that a lapse patent is sometimes very strategic, and it's not always an accident. Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
Um, Again, for a global product or product line that has multiple patents may apply to it, this is a Canadian one. So, like, you have to consider just the country where it's done, or sometimes you can't make in one country and sell in another, depending on what the claims are. And I think we'll get to that part.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna get really, really dig into this
Hmm.
particular patent to
Yeah,
just
there it
try
is.
to understand Novo's strategy. And again, IP strategy is proprietary. It's not like generically disclosed, but we can take a look at patents and really, really start to understand what's going on. So, what does a patent actually protect? There is a very common misconception, especially to people, scientists and business people who are new to patenting, is that, well, you have a patent on Ozempic, so that means they own it. But in fact, a granted patent does not mean that the drug is completely covered by that patent. A lapsed patent also doesn't mean, as a result, that the drug is unprotected. There might be other patents protecting it. And the data exclusively can block generics independently. So the which is what I mentioned, the regulatory data, the information from the FDA requirements can absolutely block generics. So bottom line is IP strategy map has many layers because it's not just your patents, it's your manufacturing capabilities, your trade secrets on how you manufacture, and your quality and your ability to produce a certain quality and your trademarks. All of those things is part of your IP and your protection. So why this matters, I think I skipped a little bit. Next page is
Yeah.
why this matters beyond pharma. Well, patents are not self-maintaining. That's really the biggest takeaway from today's session, is that if you have a set of patents and they're important to your market, you better keep track of paying your fees. Because if you miss a step, you can hand your market to a competitor. And so active patent management is not optional. I want to pull this into a little bit of our context of Tornado IP and Thoughtful Thursdays by Tornado IP. One of the things that we offer within Tornado IP is help having a cross-functional patent audit system where you do audit your patent portfolio, have an understanding of what your patent family members are, and make sure that you make strategic decisions around maintaining and abandoning patents. Not doing that kind of an audit on a decent sized patent portfolio can really add up in patent costs as well.
And
So
adjacent to that,
lessons for
I
any
would
innovator. Yes, go ahead.
I would add as an adjacency to that, if you have interest in a business area that has some patents by others, part of your own strategy is not your own patents only, but paying attention to what another competitor, oh, we're not going to get into this market because there are patents by others, but they may allow them to lapse, or like in this case, an accident or other reasons. So the strategy is paying attention not just to your own, but to the whole landscape of a related one, and that will turn up here also.
Absolutely. And patents require active management. You should have
Mm.
working in a space as busy as these Ozempic type DL1 drugs is a very, very busy patent scape. So having an alert, an eye out on what your competition is up to is critical. And portfolio decisions around abandoning patents should be strategic and documented. have awareness, if you are in the pharma space, that data exclusivity, regulatory protection, and patents are separate tools, but they can provide IP protection. And one country, if you're only filing in one country, we discussed this in the context of our Pentagon patent series. If you're only filing in one country, it's a very thin patent portfolio, and you really strategically need to decide several different countries typically where you want to protect the market, because one patent is just one country and it doesn't provide global protection. So lessons for any innovator joining us today: patents are not self-maintaining. Miss a step and you can hand your market to a competitor. And stay tuned for our second episode on first impressions, what the cover page tells you in 60 seconds. And again, a little bit of a shout out to Tornado IP. How we help, Mike and I work helping inventors do the type of training sprints that we're demoing today with the Ozempic patent, how to take a look at patent trade secret confidential information disclosure discipline, and how to train your team to have best practices around that. And we also provide IP Pulse Check, where we take a look at what you've got and suggest top 10 moves, assess top competitors with IP, and assist you with IP strategy execution, filing roadmap, renewal rules, dashboards for cross-functional decisions. So if you would like to chat with us, you can find us through the tornadoipconsulting.com webpage, or you can use this QR code, and you can just book 30 minutes free discussion to see how we might be able to help. Thank you, and stay tuned for Thoughtful Thursdays, episode number 2. Okay.